The only thing that put me off making this video is the fact that I'd have to watch Avatar again, but I felt like there was something here I had to talk about because it's a really weird phenomenon. Avatar is a 2009 film directed by James Cameron? This guy. He's most known for his smash hit Piranha 2: The Spawning. That's all I was able to find out about him, so let's move on. In my research for this video, I asked multiple people a few questions. 1. Have you seen Avatar? 2. How many times have you watched it? 3. When was the last time you watched it? And 4. Do you like it? And the answers were surprisingly similar. Of the people who have seen it, which was only about half of those I asked actually, most said they've watched it a few times. The last time wasn't that recent, and they didn't like it as much as when they saw it in the cinema. This brings us to my theory. Avatar is not a great film. It pains me to say that because so many people work so hard on this, language experts, botanists, historians, so many artists in so many fields. It sucks that it isn't great. What it is a very visually adept piece of art with a very important message. I think the best evidence of this is the list of Oscars it won: Best Cinematography, Best Art Direction and Best Visual Effects. 3 Oscar wins is nothing to sniff at, but they were all visual. It lost in 6 more categories, including Best Picture and Best Director, and nobody received any nominations in any acting category.
And the winner is The Hurt Locker. Catherine Bigelow, Mark Bowl, Nicholas Chartier, and Greg Shapiro.
That, to me, is the best summation of this film, visually stunning for the time, and even today it still looks fantastic, but with very little else going for it. In terms of the plot, it's fairly straightforward, pretty predictable, and is carried out by characters who are little more than stereotypes. The disabled Marine who lost his brother, the brilliant scientist at war with the brass, the corporate big shot who plays golf in his office and only cares about money, the scarred, muscle-bound army colonel who only speaks in cliches. When you can predict the next line a character says and the dialogue is cheesier than a fondue party, you might have a bit of a problem. And don't get me started on unobtainium. When I actually sat down and watched this in preparation for this video, just rewatching the film again, I was actually struck by how much I did love Zoe Saldana in it. I mean, Jesus, Zoe, is your back hurting because you have been carrying this film for its entire runtime? I think the world they created was brilliant. I think the artists and designers had a field day and just went crazy and created something that really looks spectacular and really looks like a top-class film. So let's talk a little bit about inspiration. The inspiration for Avatar is clear to see: sci-fi and jungle adventure stories, the plight of native people, the human race's addiction to fossil fuels, and even Cameron's own movies all contribute to making this movie what it is. The romance between Jake and Neytiri, played by Zoe Saldana, who is the shining light of this film, is very similar to Jack and Rose's in Titanic because Cameron is leaning on what he knows. Avatar is all of Cameron's different creative impulses drawn from his different inspirations put together into one film. The question is, who was inspired by Avatar? I have yet to see a director, writer or anyone say, yes, Avatar, that was what inspired me to make this film. At the time of making this video, it's been 12 years and we've yet to see anything that can be said to have been as a direct result of Avatar's success. And make no mistake, it was successful, until it was beaten by Avengers Endgame, the most anticipated film of the last decade. It was the highest grossing motion picture in history, but it's no longer culturally relevant, and I think therein lies the problem. The hype was real, it was tangible. Avatar was going to be the next huge leap forward for movies. Nothing would ever be the same again. However, upon its release, the public went crazy, the merchandise and the memes and the promotions and references were flying, but then nothing. It's 2021. People have forgotten Avatar. There are no memes, there are no references in popular culture. Movies from the 90s and even further back are still talked about. TV shows that have long since finished are shown repeatedly on TV and take centre stage on streaming services. But Avatar has disappeared from the public consciousness, with only the faint view of Avatar 2 on the horizon, providing the only reason why anyone at all spends any time at all talking about it. All signs point to the fact that Avatar, as a thing that happened in the public sphere, was the most successful fad to ever occur. That might sound like an insult, but I think it's perfectly fine for something to be a fad. Some of my favourite things from my childhood were fads, and it's nice to revisit them from time to time. The one thing I keep thinking about is how the budget for Avatar is always represented and talked about. Right from the very beginning, the budget came in 2 parts, as everyone at Fox, and even Cameron himself, said that it was $237 million with $150 million for promotion. To me, that's staggering. Not just because of the numbers, but also because it's clear what their strategy was from the start. Avatar was going to be marketed fully 24/7 until it was the most talked about, most anticipated film of all time. It worked. Looking at the promotions, it was never just Avatar. It was James Cameron's Avatar. I am 99% sure that this film wouldn't have done nearly as well if it was directed by literally anybody else. And I think some people in an office in LA knew that too. Looking back at the trailers today, I don't think they have the same impact without the weight of that hype and anticipation behind them. They don't make me want to watch it based on them alone. I have no doubt that Cameron had the best intentions for Avatar, so don't think that I'm talking about him for this next part, because I'm going to call out corporate greed for a second. In a move that makes me cringe to this day, the trailer, a toy line, and a trailer for the official Avatar video game were released on the exact same day. It was then marketed relentlessly by Coca-Cola and McDonald's.
Take your card to mcdonalds.com/avatar and prepare to be thrilled.
If that doesn't announce that this film was a vehicle for corporations to squeeze every last penny out of you by hopping on a bandwagon for a standalone film that nobody had even seen yet, I don't know what does. The fact that 4 sequels were locked in all at once was the final nail in that coffin, as Cameron's passion project was essentially transformed into a meal ticket for millionaires, which is ironic, considering the film's message that money-hungry corporations will continue the American tradition of claiming something as theirs, making an enemy of those that own it, and then taking it by force. When we talk about legacy, my fear, if I was Cameron or Fox, would be that 4 sequels are locked in, with 2 already having started filming, in a time when nobody cares about Avatar, and that initial resurgence of interest will surely fade and then continue to fall with each installment. I would love to be proven wrong on this, but I fear that Avatar, the well-marketed cash cow that exploded onto the scene and then fizzled out, has fallen into the trap of committing to becoming a franchise without the proper groundwork. Avatar, as a series, will not be another MCU. I'd be surprised if it was even another Transformers. But again, I really hope that I'm wrong and that Cameron knocks it out of the park, because I want to see top-class cinema in the coming years as much as you do. 2022. Let's wait and see. Thank you to everyone who has watched. You've got me to 200 subscribers. It actually took me 8 months to get to 100 and only 1 month to get from 100 to 200, so thank you so much for that. If I keep going at this rate, by the end of the year I'll be the biggest YouTuber on the platform, so let's make that happen. Also, thanks to your support, I've got myself a new mic. You are literally the only reason I would actually do that, because I only use my mic for making these videos. So that investment was for you. For anyone curious, I got a Blue Yeti, so the standard YouTuber microphone. So yeah, thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.